Hi everyone. I wanted to make a short video to introduce myself to you. We're going to be working very closely together this term, and I am going to ask you to introduce yourselves to your classmates, although not necessarily with a video. But it only seemed fair that I should go first. So here we are. My name's Kate, and I am originally from Sheffield in England. Sheffield is an industrial city in the north of the country that was once dominated by the steel industry. But that industry hit a big slump in the 1970s. And so the Sheffield of my childhood was all about closed mills and high unemployment. Sheffield is also surrounded by mines. And one of my most vivid memories from childhood is being on the top deck of a double-decker bus heading into the city center and seeing a long line of people snaking out of a red brick building and down the road. I asked my mom what was going on. She said those were the miners and their families, and that was a soup kitchen. It was during the National Miners' Strike, and I immediately knew that my allegiance was with the miners. It's one of the most foundational political memories of my life. I'm a first-generation college student from a working-class family. I attended college at Nottingham University in England, where I majored in American Studies and minored in trying to figure out how to work for a living without generating profit for a major corporation. In my senior year, my university announced an exchange program for a student in either American Studies or history at Nottingham to go to the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee to get a master's degree in history. I applied, figuring if I got into the program, I'd live abroad for a couple of years, broaden my horizons, and come back with a new qualification. I got the fellowship and I moved to the United States in 1994. But the moment I stepped into a classroom to teach at UWM, I realized this was home. I loved teaching. Now, I was tremendously nervous. I was just a couple of months out from having earned my BA. But I loved the interplay between students and myself and the challenge of making our classroom interesting, useful, and meaningful. It's because I love teaching college so much that I applied to PhD programs, and I was lucky enough to be accepted to the University of Iowa. I lived in Iowa for 9 years, working on my PhD, and I also volunteered hours and hours for local political candidates. I considered a career in politics instead of history. I was very heavily influenced by the vision of public service in the TV show The West Wing. But the 2000 presidential caucuses in Iowa generated such ugliness between the candidates and their supporters that I changed my mind. I recommitted to history and landed my first position at Knox College in 2005. I'm now the Bright Distinguished Professor of American History and Chair of the History Department. I am a long way from Sheffield, and that fact often stops me in my tracks. I feel very lucky to be part of the Knox community. Because I know what it's like to be the first in a family to go to college and all of the challenges that are involved, it matters deeply to me that first-generation students are welcome at Knox. That's why I have helped direct the Spark Summer Bridge program for 3 years. I'm committed to doing my part to making Knox a welcoming community for everyone, including students who feel marginalized because of one or more of their social identities. That's one of the reasons why I co-direct the college's Social Justice Dialogues program with Professor Gabrielle Raley in sociology. Otherwise, I love Captain America. I bake incredible orange and cranberry shortbread. I am learning to play the banjo. I can pick out maybe a couple of tunes so far, and I have a beaten up piano that brings me a lot of joy. I knit, but only in the winter. I paint now and again. I am a world-class napper. I drink strong black tea in the morning and decaf lattes when I go to work. And I have a small, lovely dream of owning a rescued greyhound one day. I also hope that one day I will come around to actually enjoying weeding my garden. You will often find me hanging out with friends over dinner, at least before the pandemic, And you'll see me watching shows about tiny houses and begrudgingly walking around my neighborhood because I hear that exercise is a good thing. I love shoes. I have a lot of them, and I can debate minor details about the Marvel Cinematic Universe for hours. You're going to get to know a lot more about me in the next few weeks. If there's something you're curious about, just ask me at any time. I'm always available to you through email and Slack and lots of other communication methods. See you soon.